Hello, 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 New Haven, and welcome back to Arts Respond on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. I'm your host, Lucy Gellman. We took a little break, but we are back. I'm excited to be back today with cast and crew and visionaries behind Ding Dong Ditch, a horror. I feel like we finally got the Thanksgiving episode that I've been trying to get, or sorry, Halloween, not Thanksgiving. Jumped a whole month ahead. That I've been trying to get for years. So it is a thriller co-directed by Chaz Carman and Derek Mead. And I'm going to read the summary because it does it better than I do. So in the gritty alternate universe known as the Big East, a cold case resurfaces. One that began with a Halloween night missing person report and has since gone unsolvable. And I'll also say, like, Chaz, I love you, and I hate horror. Like, horror movies scare the whatever out of me. And so, this is a testament of my love for you that we're doing it.
Love me too. Not really a horror though, more of a thriller, like a crime thriller. Not really a horror though.
Okay, I got you, Detective Charlie. But thrillers scare me too. Detective Charlie Dawson, an old school hot-tempered sleuth who relies on instinct sharper than any AI, that's because humans are better than AI, y'all, is tasked with the investigation. With only analog clues, military-style traps, precision setups, and a hauntingly silent signature. He must navigate a dangerously corrupt city where gang warfare and political rot are the norm. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this film. Chaz, I'm going to throw it to you first. Chaz Carman.
So thank you for having us. I love you too. It's a crime thriller, not and it's made around Halloween time because Ding Dong Ditch is remember that time where around Halloween, kids ring your doorbell and run, etc. And so 2 years ago we started back making this film from a book that Derek Mead wrote actually, and the book has won 2 awards. You can get it on Amazon. It's a phenomenal book. I'll tell you more about that. But you just read, right? It's a great read on top of that, but we turned it into a film. And the main power of this, like I said, it's during Halloween time, but it's not like a killer slasher movie. It's crime thriller where something happens and the police officers are trying to catch the person in part that did that. But I think the main piece about this is community, right? We have educators and firefighters and young kids in high school in our city that came together and brought this to light. So, it was something for the teens to do. We had a bunch of kids in the film, a bunch of community people. So it's something for everyone to do and come together. And I think that was the main mission and the purpose of the film. On top of that, it's a really good read and also a good project.
I want to toss it since we're talking about the involvement of youth in the film. Carlos Cernak, I want to hop it to you. You are joining us from New Haven Academy, so this is very apropos. Let's talk about the youth involvement in the film and also why hopping into this was exciting for you.
Wait, what was your question again? I forgot.
Oh, I would love to talk about youth involvement in the film and why, hopping into a project like this was exciting to you.
Let me see. It was exciting because I like to do new things. Like this was a new thing for me, so I was excited to be on screen for the first time, have something to do for the meantime, keep me occupied, and yeah, that's really it.
So let's maybe rewind the clock a little bit since this is based on a book by Derek Mead. Can you tell me a little bit about the book and also your inspiration for it? So, if someone hears the term, and Chaz, I think you mentioned this, if someone hears the term just Ding Dong Ditch, which is maybe apropos this time of year, they're thinking of like a Halloween prank. But obviously when you're writing like a whole book, a lot more goes into it. So tell me about that process.
So the process of what, writing the book? and where the
Writing the
inspiration.
book, the
So
inspiration, your
yeah,
own interest in having a
yeah.
writing.
So
Some people are like, they don't want to touch the process of writing with a 10-foot pole.
yeah, so it takes place in the near future. We're first responders, so we have a lot of ins and outs, but we're on the other side, firefighters. But now, and we actually trained with a few cops from New Haven PD and got some resources and information from them too as well. But all in all, everybody's going through the same struggles inside the first responder ranks. What Dawson doesn't like is change. One thing that is always going to be changed is always going to be new people coming into the fold. But sometimes we look at the new people as younger, but they're the new generations that's going to be carrying the torch to become veterans one day. So that's what it gives. It gives hope. Definitely, in a time that we are right now, kind of reflects a lot of things that are going on within our system, community system, and politics behind the scenes. And Dawson is one person that stands as a beacon of light to stand up to it, no matter if it costs his own life.
And let's talk about the making of the film itself, and also Chaz, I'm interested in how this goes from a book to a film. Talk me through that process. Like, did you know, always, did you have it in the back of your mind that you wanted to make this into a film?
So it kind of happened in reverse. I wrote maybe about 60% of the book, but I wrote it in script form. And then we had a casting call, 130 people showed up. And then I just wanted to include a lot of, local artists and the kids in the front end as far as acting and the post production behind the scenes too. So we started to make sure we grab anybody who was available. So out of 130, we maybe casted about 30, gave them different characters, but then that kind of altered the book too as well. So the movie kind of inspired the book at the end of the day.
And so if I may jump in, so when he reached out to me, he had, part of some script done, and then we came together and continued on the script. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, you are a phenomenal writer. I think you should write this book, right? And then boom, 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 and he pulled together this phenomenal. It's a super great read. People are, won 2 awards already. And then, like you said, we did a casting call in the cold, and it was 130 people outside waiting in line. We pulled 30 in and really made sure it was community, right? Because we wanted to make sure we had people from all walks of life coming together and doing something that keeps kids safe and community working. So it really
I want
blossomed.
to talk about that and also bring Troy Frost. I want to bring you into the conversation because I think it was like about 2 years ago at this time, maybe a little longer than that. I remember a story in the New Haven Independent with yourself and Derek Mead was in it, David Zanelli, who at the time was assistant police chief. And it was about working with young people in something called like a career exploratory program,
Yes.
and the importance of that for you in your own life, and then of course the mission of emergency first responders who are also carrying a lot of trauma themselves very often.
Mhm.
So talk to me about making sure that through this process and then through your work as a first responder, you were also giving back, that you knew you were giving back to the community and opening this up to the community.
Yeah, so for me, I was that kid. I was born and raised in the projects, a single grandmother with 10 of my cousins. So I had to wear hand-me-down clothes. I had mayonnaise sandwiches for dinner. So I understood the struggle. So in my life as an adult, I wanted to make sure that I gave back to that kid that was me. And I just never forgot that. I hold it close to my heart, and it's just something I do. Yesterday, I was at Troop talking to over 150 kids. I just enjoy doing it, and it's just my way to give back to my community, the great Elm City. And the second part of your question was,
Oh, well, I would also love to hear the same from Derek. Like, was the vision always to involve the community in this?
Yes, we involve the community in everything that we do, especially the exploratory program that helped change a lot of kids' lives, not just by giving them, uh, actually by educating them and teaching them the foundation of financial literacy. And then I started to see them glow, just interacting with them in a firefighter capacity. But now, as we've taken the next step to directing film and bringing big films to Connecticut, it's a whole different conversation. Now, kind of like give everybody involved hope. I've seen kids that are people involved in this whole process that's start to exude a high number of passion and they feel like they have self-worth, which means that the team's coming together. And also at the end of the day is we're inspiring other people to, follow in those footsteps and also building a platform for people to actually get that artistic avenue out. A lot of the stuff that we're dealing with today with the youth, it's all bottled up frustration, but it's bottled up. They don't know how to channel that inner energy towards something. But once you find that, they find that, then it kind of changes them and they kind of get a direction on where they want to go in life.
And if I can jump in on some of that right there, I'm gonna shout out Carlos on a spectacular job he's doing in school. Right, grades are phenomenal, and when we started this project, they're a little bumpy, but coming toward the end of the project now, where we are now, phenomenal student at school doing a spectacular job, and these kind of things keep those kids, in our city moving forward and having something to do, so they can focus on school and have something to look forward to when they get out of there.
I would also love to talk about, like, I think that if you said, I was even talking to someone before this and she was like, oh, what's your 1 p.m. meeting? And I was like, oh, I'm hopping on with some like first responders, fire personnel, also Chaz, who has been in like all of the roles with youth development. And we're talking about a film. And she was like, what now? Come again? And so I would love to talk about also like what acting opens up both for these young people and for the folks on this call who had pretty leading roles in the film.
Dan, would you take that one? Dan plays Tom Caldwell.
Yeah, I
Dan,
love
would you take
that.
that one? He's a firefighter, and
Yeah, so as I understand the question, you just kind of want to know from the acting side, like how this all kind of works in line with the company's mission to include.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, like I'm always curious, were you an actor as a kid? Did you know that this was something you were interested in? Did you feel it like a pull?
Never as a kid. I enjoyed film throughout my
Yeah.
life. I've watched TV and films and all of that stuff. Just probably just as much as anybody. Really, I started finding the passion for storytelling and the impact that it had on me. Because whenever I watched a film that had a great story, it moved me, and then that coupled with I also kind of grew up in a challenging neighborhood and ended up finding my way through the Marine Corps. And pretty much was there from 18 to my mid 30s, and that when I was leaving the military, I just fell back on my passion for filmmaking, storytelling, and acting was kind of in that realm. And I started to explore that after I got out of the military, and I ended up leaving California, which that was my last duty station, and started to pursue filmmaking and acting at Wesleyan University. Through that journey, I started to find a passion for acting and how powerful it is to try to understand characters that you might not align with values and with background, and really what I've learned in my studies is learning how to empathize and seek out the entire truth of or quote unquote the truth of a character, and that can be challenging because you have to really do research. You have to talk to people. You have to take a step out of your own shoes and walk in the footsteps of another person's shoes, and that I believed started to change my appreciation for acting and character work and things like that, and it started opening up more doors. And it just started to enhance my passion for storytelling and filmmaking. And then lo and behold, I ended up becoming a firefighter. That also helped as I'm doing character work, as I'm learning about acting at Wesleyan. I started finding more empathy and more compassion for people again that I didn't quite necessarily agree or align with, which helped me become a better firefighter, which helped me, seek out this opportunity with Max Vision Films and ultimately try to play this character that I play as authentically as possible. Essentially, pursuing this role in a way that, pays homage to not only his character, but to the veteran identity, to whatever you'll come to see through the film.
I also, yeah, I love that. What were some of the movies? I love hearing what people's, sort of first touch points with the arts, which are often movies, because those are like the easiest and the most accessible to consume a lot of the time.
So for me, action films, I loved, those cheesy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, and I think just these strong male characters. I loved watching wrestling growing up, but then also like you watch movies like Rocky and Rambo, and you find these monologues that are just incredible, right? Like the end monologue of Sylvester Stallone in Rambo really sums up the challenges that Vietnam veterans had when coming back from the war, and it wasn't just as simple as he was traumatized and more and then comes back and now loses, his mind. No, it's more than that. It's he was holding his friend that was dying, and now he has to come and make peace with the world that doesn't even want to acknowledge that he exists, So, there was those kinds of movies, and I opened it up to other people. So.
Yeah, I also want to bring in, I'm looking at a sort of a still image that's the cover of the film right now. And Troy Frost, this is an amazing cover. It's like heroic, and we can't say it because of the FCC, but BADASS, and just like interesting. And so tell me about, did you act as a kid? What was your cultural touch point before you were acting?
Music.
Music. Tell me about that. Music for so many young people, I feel like it opens up whole universes.
Yeah, so my music spectrum, it went from Stevie Wonder to Michael Jackson to Madonna to The Clash to Bon Jovi. It just was a vast of music that I listened to. And I actually was in a music group and I toured, and so that I kind of had the bug of doing videos and things like that.
Wait, what was this group called? I'm nosy.
Shamari, Shomari, Shamari.
That's amazing. And what kind of stuff did y'all perform?
We did R&B
That was
music.
a big group. That was a big group.
We did R&B. Thank you. We did R&B music, but we also was writers and producers. So I played the piano. So, I've worked with Whitney Houston, Lauryn Hill, just to name a few people. So I always kind of had that bug, but music was the first thing to touch me. Because when you hit certain chords, it hits a certain string in your emotions, and it could take you different places. So for me, it's music, and then the visual. Once the music hits me, I could visually see it. And sometimes that happened to me, and I would call Mead up and say, "Hey, I see this. This is what I see." And he was great with listening and sculpting what you say and put it into visual. So
And did you know once you heard about the script that was coming, did you know like, okay, I want this to be part of my life. Like I want this film to be part of my life.
yeah, it was strange because again, Mr. Mead, he was doing a music video and he was like, "Hey, I got this role and I need somebody to play the part and I think you could do it." So once I did that, he was like, "Yo, I'm trying to do an independent film. You should try for the role." And it just brought life back. You know what I'm saying? It brought back memories and certain techniques I used to do when I was either when I was on stage performing or when I was doing a music video, or if I was working with someone. It brings back those talents. So I was very excited about doing it, and um, just the beginning of something great.
So also tell me about, and anyone can jump in, about telling this story and sort of what your wild hopes were as you were telling this story. And now that the film is starting to get out into the community, including tomorrow night, November 1st, at the Flint Street Theater, which is a beautiful new space, sort of nested within the Friends Center for Children. What were the wildest like hopes and dreamy dreams behind this?
For me, it was
Carlos. Okay, go ahead.
oh,
Everyone can jump in. Just
Yeah,
not
jump in. Go ahead, guys.
I'll say real quick, just the sky's the limit. This is the beginning of something great. Like I said, it's home based. It's letting our community know that, hey, we know we have talent too. We know about New York, we know about New Jersey, but New Haven has it too. So this is a building block to move on and let people know in New Haven, hey, people have talent here, and we're going to push that issue and that narrative throughout Connecticut. I mean, people from all over, but we want to let them know that we could do it here as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the world of Ding Dong Ditch can continue to expand, to tell more story about these characters, to build more characters in, and just to get more stories out of New Haven and the local area. Again, as Troy said, New York has it, LA has it, so does Boston, but we're right in between all of that. And why not us? And why not this production company? Why not use the talent here in it to grow something big and wonderful and authentic?
Yeah, that was one question that I have because I like as an arts reporter, I'm often talking to people and they'll say, "Oh, if I'm doing a film project, I'm just going to go to Atlanta. Like I'm not going to mess with Connecticut." Um, did folks run into some of that when y'all were working on the film itself?
I didn't see it personally, but the one thing that this film does do, because a lot of people who are into acting, they need reels. They need something with them speaking and talking. And again, this is just another avenue for them to have that. So when they do go to New York, say, "Hey, well, I did this film with Max Vision and I'm speaking," and that could be their reel. So it's twofold, threefold, or even more, you know, for people in Connecticut where you just get a stand-in role, but now you have something to bring to the table, thanks to Max Vision and the Vision.
So I know Carlos has to leave for quiz in a second. Carlos, if you can answer that question, then you can say bye and then.
What was the question again?
Oh, like tell me about, well, also I'd love to hear just about your experience of being in the film. Um, but also about uplifting New Haven, because this is also about saying, hey, you don't have to go to Atlanta or some other folks on the call said New York or LA to be in a film. You can do so right here. Like we have a lot of talent right here.
Yeah, New Haven is really not known for talent air quotes, because I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but like, mm,
And the second part of that question was like, how was your experience in making the film?
my experience, it was good. I met new people. I made friends off the cast. It was fun. I had a good experience. I'd like to do it again. And yeah,
I will also say like New Haven is very much I've only seen the trailer obviously but like New Haven is very much a character in this film, right? So tell me about that. Tell me about shooting in some of the places that like that are home and also that are home
Literally.
personally. Yeah, also literally like interior home spaces, but also like the city, right? I think of the whole city as my office as a reporter. And so and I imagine in a very different way when you're a first responder, you're thinking about the city, you have like a map of the city in your head, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then you probably also have like a personal geography of this is where this thing happened, or this is where I answered this call, or this is where I saved someone's life, right? And so what's it like to be building this story in the place that you call home?
So you kind of said it yourself because, like, one of the scenes we shot at Woolsey Hall, I remember cutting through there to go to Yorkside Pizza as a kid. But I also remember as a firefighter going over there for a bomb threat. So a lot of times, us as firefighters, we see streets as situations that we had to deal with. They're no longer streets. It's like, oh, I remember this incident here. Oh, I remember this fire here. Oh, I remember I helped deliver a baby here. And being born and raised in Connecticut, in New Haven specifically, a lot of the places is places we walked or we played basketball at, or literally one of the houses is one of my family homes that we used.
Hey,
So
Trey,
it's
I'm going to cut you off. Excuse me. Carl's got to go to do a test. Carl, see you later. We love you.
Good luck on
I,
your
Go ahead, do
test.
this retest. I know you got to leave. I want to hold you.
so that you when you said the question, you kind of answered it in yourself, because we, like I said, we walk these streets and then we work these streets. So we see it twofold and actually threefold now filming a movie. So all of these things ring in our head.
Right. So you're like, now you're like, I have been here as a kid. That Wolsey Hall
Mhm.
is such an interesting because it's like a cut through. Although now I think it's different. Like you can't get in without an ID. But I remember I've been here for like 13 or 14 years, and when I moved here, you could cut through, and it was really convenient to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Like it saved you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, but being in that building and experiencing that building, I mean, there are intersections in New Haven where I still think like this is where people sat in the middle of an intersection during a protest and like traffic couldn't get through, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think, yeah, like I'm sure
It's
that
also the place Whitney Houston performed at.
that's right.
You
And
know what I mean?
so many people. Um, so to have like a personal relationship with these spaces, and do you feel like the film, even though it is a thriller, um, do you feel like it has deepened your love for and relationship with the city? And I'm asking everyone on this call.
For me, that's a yes.
What about other folks?
I'm sorry, say the question again.
Oh, I was asking folks, do you feel like this film has deepened your relationship with and love for the city of New Haven?
Oh, definitely. I'm born and raised in Haven, and everything I can do for my city and for the young people in my city and for families in my city is this is what I do. This is my purpose. So anytime you can bring things back to the city that people can really utilize and take advantage of, it's always a great thing. And then on top of that, utilizing the spaces in the city or being out there on a shoot in the neighborhood in Newhallville, and we're in the middle of Newhallville, and we got 30, 40 families out there, and they're all excited about what we're doing and coming over and taking pictures and just having a good time. And basically celebrating us while we're doing the project, right? So just all of that and coming together is really powerful and impactful for the city and for the people that are part of the project, right? And most of the people are right from New Haven, so you know.
I would love to bring in the two other voices on this call and also ask both of you, like, how has this changed your relationship with the city? Because you're also like, you're doing this fun, interesting new project in the place that you also call home.
So, back in the younger days, they had this program, Aspirations for Higher Learning, and one thing that it showed me was that there is a vast world out there. And also watching different various icons, the Chad Dawsons and, the Shamaris, just watching people sometimes when you're growing up, it kind of gives you the inclination that you can do it too as well. You actually have hands on or see the person that is doing it, and then it's like, man, this person that's in my town, Justin Silver, he's blowing up, and the next thing you know, they're attaining heights just by hard work and dedication. So this is what mainly is attaching us to the city, because we want to show them and the youth that you can do anything is possible. You just have to keep God first and, just keep your focus on your goals and not your problems.
And
Well
talk
said.
also about what's next for the film. Again, anyone can hop in.
So the film, it's a movie series. We shot about 3 episodes, and we wanted to. The film is a thriller. We wanted to capture anybody's attention. We have numerous of other films that everybody, from Frost to Chaz to Dan, everybody has a film that is upcoming. The name came about, Ding Dong Ditch, and then I built the film around the name because we need impact. We need to catch eyes. The name Ding Dong Ditch catches eyes, and then if what else is gonna, get the blood pumping? It has to be a detective mystery thriller. And we did have a whole bunch of other scripts, but we needed something impactful to really have people say, "Whoa, what's that?" and really pay attention to us. And then we can start to break down some other avenues of exploring more creative things, plays and soundtracks, and we have a whole cartoons, animations. So we do have a whole list of things coming in the future, but this film is mainly to say, hey, we're here and we're going to give you something that you can't look away from and you can't ignore.
I would like to add something, especially to that first question you asked just before this question, about why New Haven and how it's impacted me. And as a transplant, I mean, I grew up in New Jersey. Military took me out of California, and then I came out here where I met my wife and now have a son. But the fact that Max Vision Films was able to create essentially something beautiful out of nothing is very inspirational, because I thought I needed to go to LA and New York, and my plan was to really, build that into my schedule as a firefighter and things like that, and make my way down to New York. And I feel now that I've aligned with these other creatives, I can build here, and I think that that's wonderful. That's beautiful, and so this is kind of enriched my knowledge of the history of New Haven and of filmmaking here in Connecticut. I just, it's just everything is kind of homegrown. It's not something that that is as quote unquote big as New York and LA, but that gives us an advantage. We can really focus on good storytelling, right? We have places down in New Haven like Toad's Place where Keanu Reeves plays with his band. I think the Dogfish Band, and you have just recently you had the Foo Fighters come out there to New Haven, right? I just went to a tailor place out in Middletown, and the guy Sal was telling me how there's plenty of films that were filmed out in Connecticut, and one of the films that was filmed here back in the '90s was with Robert De Niro called Jackknife. So we're having this conversation about films filmed here in Meriden, Middletown, New Haven, all these different things, and it's just the world is just getting bigger as we speak when it comes to filmmaking, and it's wonderful to be part of that, wonderful to see it grow, and I want it to continue to grow, and I'll be part of this as much as I can.
I love that. And tell me about, again, anyone can jump in, about the screening. So there's a screening tomorrow night, Saturday, November 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m. At the Flint Street Theater. That's 25 Flint Street in New Haven. If folks haven't been yet, it's a beautiful, beautiful space. And Trey Moore over there, who is running it, is really doing very good work in lifting up local talent and local directors. So Troy, when you talk about the importance of recognizing that there is talent right here in New Haven, that really resonated with me, and I know it resonates with him too. So tell me about that screening, what folks can expect. Are you feeling excited?
Well, for me, I'm nervous and excited all in one, because the actors in the film we don't know. We know it's going to be enjoyable. We know it's going to be fantastic, but when you don't know, you don't see all the scenes being filmed. Like I can't wait to see what the kids did. I can't wait to see some of the things that Tom did, and some of the other actors and actresses that are in the movie, because you don't see it being put together. Nas and Chaz, they see it because they're doing all the filming and the sound. Us as actors, we only see bits and pieces. You know what I mean?
Is this your first, like, have you not seen it before?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh. So that's the big deal.
Yes. Yes.
Do you
And I
feel
like it that
nervous?
way because it's just going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting night to see everything put together, the music, the edits, just all the talent is going to be seen all at once. It's going to be great.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
and I'm going to see you there.
You will see probably one of our writers there. I will be across town at there's too much happening tomorrow night, but yeah. One of our writers, yes. I'm also wondering, like, how can folks support this vision going forward?
So it's just simple. Especially right now in the world of social media, a like and share goes a long way. You can go to www.maxvisionfilms.com. You can sign up to the newsletters. You can purchase a book. The ebook is out. Also, the audiobook just dropped today. It's on ACX, Amazon. So yeah, it's just various ways to supporting art. But one thing about what we put together is a whole universe. So once you start to dig into what we're doing, it's real quality stuff. And it took a while to start to put things together to make a film that can be called a movie. Uh, when you see indie movies, you know they're indie because the angles or the actors or just certain things. When you kind of look at this one, which is really kind of pinning us against big competition, it looks like a regular movie, and it sounds and feels like a regular movie, but it was done on an independent budget using minimum resources and what we have, who we have around us. So it was the underdog fight, which I really appreciate these guys. And I want to give a shout out to everybody, the main two actors, especially Chaz, um, Frost, and Dan, for just believing in the vision, because when I first brought it to him, I came in the room and I told him what I was going to do. This person is getting thrown out the window. This person is getting his fingers chopped off. And they're all looking at me like, oh, okay. And then as soon as things start to fold out, everybody was like, wow, like, how are you putting this together? So I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. Of course, I put the movie together, but right now, as we speak, God bless you. Bless you. Right now, as we speak, the movie's getting put together in its final form. As far as the first episode is going to be a series, so right now, as we speak, it's getting finished. For tomorrow.
So the last question I always ask folks is, and I'm especially interested because like you are all creatives, but you also fill a very, very important role in our civic fabric as first responder. And so I just want to like recognize that. How do all of you take care of yourselves?
Well, a lot of us in the fire department, it depends on your crew and who you're around. Um, and we stay on top of each other. We turned our firehouse basically into a gym. Um, and sometimes you might cheat and eat something, but we just stay on top of each other. Like, oh, come on now. We have a chart board where we have how many push-ups you did, sit-ups, pull-ups, how many miles you did on the treadmill, and we just keep it up for people to see. And we just try and stay on top of each other because we have to be physically fit to do our job to keep our city safe and do the things that we do.
So first is spirituality. I hate spirituality. Taking care of your physical. Exercise is prayer. It's another form of prayer. Eating good. Keeping everything nutritious and also an outlet. One thing that this has helped me with, because we see a lot of things being first responders. We're the first person that comes to somebody in a 911 call, so we see a lot. And I think some of that transmuted into the film and started to bleed over into the book and over into the movies. And just the feeling, is just like it's an outlet. So I think it's therapy as well. And then watching the youth, come together and just transmuting that energy from like, all right, we don't have anything that's around us that's informing the arts. Now they have an outlet to be seen. Just seeing that alone can just power me to and us forward to just want to keep on replicating the process and finding that next youth actor that can inspire a change in the youth.
I think what Derek and Troy said, hit the nail right on the head. With spirituality, the physical aspect, and what Derek was saying too, right? Like the art form of creating film, acting, being part of this something bigger, kind of almost replicates the fire service in general, first responders in general. But it's an outlet, right? It's a way to play characters that are that you can just kind of let go of your own universe and then involve yourself into another universe. There's actually a really good organization that I worked for as an internship a while back with Adam Driver. He was the lead actor in Star Wars. He's a very famous actor, and he has an organization called Arts in the Armed Forces, and he suggests that has a very wonderful TED talk. Talking about how his experience from the military transitioning out into civilian world was challenging, and that he used the arts to kind of help him navigate those emotions and feelings that he didn't necessarily know he was having. And the arts can do that. Acting can do that. Literature
Yeah.
and study can really, help you identify, emotions that are nuanced and not so cut and dry and black and white. And I think that this organization here, Max Vision, is providing that outlet and providing, a space where you can be creative and build worlds that it's just doesn't have to necessarily be professional, but just a sort of play that allows us to express ourselves that we can't in the firehouse per se, and I think the firehouse and the brotherliness of being part of fire community is wonderful, and we do look after each other and we do therapy. I'm part of the peer support group, and we have resources and things like that. This is just another way of expression that complements all of that.
I think also I'm so glad you brought it up in that way, because I think that some people, there's still a huge stigma around therapy for so many folks and for so many communities. And I think especially if you are in a profession where you are looked to within your city as like, that person is strong, that person cares for other people. You're not always able to like mind your own mental. And of course, the risk of that is, if you're not mentally and emotionally okay, in addition to being physically okay, when you're responding to a very difficult call, that's going to be hard for you and like possibly life-threatening. But also, just like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. So what we have to do, I mean, it's very good to have someone you could sit and talk to release, because unfortunately we have to learn how to separate ourselves from our emotions, which can help in acting. You could switch in different characters and emotions, but we have to separate ourselves from the emotion. We see what's going on before the person gets to the hospital, before the doctors, before everybody. We see it raw and uncut. And being born and raised in New Haven and working in New Haven, sometimes you see your friends or your family members. So sometimes you have to. I had a friend of mine who was a fireman in South Carolina, and he just told me, "Hey, Frost, sometimes you got to hit the reset button and start over, because we fill all our drawers, all our trunks, all our closets are all filled with our hidden emotions, and sometimes they overspill, and you just got to reset."
I think that's very real for everyone, especially at this time in the world that we're living in, but especially for folks who are in roles where they are providing services to other people, and sometimes people when they are in very, very vulnerable positions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we are about to hop off. Our time is almost over. It's been so wonderful talking to everyone. If folks want to buy tickets to tomorrow night's screening, November 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Flint Street Theater, 25 Flint Street in New Haven, to Ding Dong Ditch, they can do so at Max Vision Films, that's one word.com. It's easy. I'm going to drop it in the chat, and Harry Droz, our absolutely wonderful station manager, will drop it on all of the social media platforms that we use. General admission tickets are $25. I would say what I often say when you're supporting the arts in New Haven, that's $25 that is going back into the cultural and creative ecosystem in the city, as opposed to going somewhere else out into the ether that doesn't feed into the creative economy that we have right here in our city. And I'm really proud of it. So thank you all so much for joining me today on Arts Respond. And either I or one of our reporters, probably a wonderful reporter named Neilani Mejias, will see you tomorrow night at the Flint Street Theater.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you all so much, and have a beautiful and safe. I'm a mom, so I get worried on Halloween. It's a scary holiday for me. May you have a safe and beautiful and uneventful Halloween. Let's say it that way.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Bye.
Thank you.